We get a lot of Germans and Americans here at this time of the year. They have the Rockies and the Alps. That wouldn't be a dangerous step. Even in Irish terms, it's very, very little. Yet I'm sure you'll agree, for the little time we had, apart from some non-native stands of trees, which are grown as windbreakers, and through some of those forestry plantation schemes, don't even start making on those things as well. Your view on top of here becomes extremely panoramic. On a very good fine day, it's very, very cloudy today, you won't get it, but looking directly out west, if you can see Rathcroghan Hill, see the telephone communication tower there. On a fine day to the right of that, you can see Croagh all the way over in County Mayo. So that's 90 kilometres away as the crow flies. Looking up to your northwest here, you're looking at the Brickleave and the Curly Mountains of County Sligo. This one directly to our north. Yesterday here I couldn't see the car park, but that's Slieve and Erin. And the Cavan Leitrim border with Quilca sticking out the back of it. Slieve Russian right at the top. You're looking right up towards County Fermanagh into Ulster. And a good fine day looking south, you can make the big outline of the Slieve Dune. The Leitrim Tipperary border, equidistant with Croagh and Storm Eowyn did us a bit of a favour. It took a long line of trees out here to east, and with the windmills on top there you can see Slieve Bawn, and beyond Slieve Bawn is the River Shannon. And that's where the territory of Connacht is bounded. So up on top of here, especially on a good, clear, fine day, the good guts of the province of Connacht is visible to us. We're looking down into Munster, up north into Ulster, but very importantly for what we think, not only can we see all the way around us up on top of here, but we can be seen, we're visible too as well. And so
with the size of him, the old brown bull could be seen from here.
100%, but that's why I say, well, that's what I say actually at home, in a bit of folklore they used to say to get away from the two, the men of Ireland had to get on top of Croagh. So maybe that's how it happened. Directly you could be right in that as well. So,
if this was all forestry, forest,
yes.
you couldn't have seen it.
But I would, as I say, you would imagine that a fertile place like this would always have been cleared for agriculture, because it would have been so important.
Seen over the top of the trees.
But there wouldn't have been trees. I'd say this was always to say this is and this place in Old Irish is called Mayo, the Plain of E. And actually Gerald de Wales came here in the 12th century with the king, and he said Ireland was large pockets of bog of forest with plains, fertile plain cleared all in around as well. And that farming at that time, you'd presume, would have been.
Have you been to Curran, Mike?
Oh, I have, yeah.
There's a Bunnew townland in Curran.
Oh, yes.
And it means the bottom of the liver-shaped eminences. So the Curran hills are like this, they're like livers. Yeah. But I mean, how they ever, could see a liver on the landscape, it beats me. But
as well,
Bunnew is same as
place, and actually, if you're really looking into old things, you make an interesting point there, John, because place names survive a long time, don't they?
They do.
And they tell you something about it maybe as well, where maybe language would change or things would be gone as well. It can show you about a feature or something that maybe was there, or maybe it's a farming thing or a place maybe where cattle were butchered, or you wouldn't know of all sorts. But anyway,
or maybe it could be that.
Maybe, as well, just into that as well. Part of the mark for sure as well. Magnetic radiometry, which is basically measure magnetic difference in the soil. Gives you a good detailed image, not too far below the soil subsurface. It's like a good MRI in medical terms.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you go to stand on the hill of Tara, Armagh, at those central monuments there, a feature that they have that we obviously no longer have is an enclosure. We're looking around us here. There's no enclosure surrounding Rathcroghan. Well, we're always noted Rathcroghan's is gone. But this is this survey, we're going to go through a few top of the pops as well. The first thing it revealed is not only do we have an enclosure surrounding this here, but we had an enormous one. So this is Rathcroghan Mound here. This is 88 metres at its base diameter. So this is a massive construction within itself. Surrounded us with a diameter of 360 metres, so almost a half a kilometre across, was placed this huge ceremonial enclosure. We mentioned this is limestone bedrock under our feet. This appears to have been rock cut about 5 metres wide and a metre deep down into the bedrock. We did a bit of a guesstimation. There's about 30 of us here, right? It would take us 6 months just to clear that trench. We had a couple of thousand people though, you'd do it in a week. If you scale it up, not only would this have been placed here, it would have been palisaded, fenced right the way around, which would have been a massive felling of timber with a huge avenue, if you can see that, leading into the foot of the eastern entrance where we're standing here. Over to our north here, another smaller northern enclosure was revealed with a parallel eastern facing avenue. The base of the mound had a slot trench placed around it, which means it also could have held a palisade, so it would have been much steeper, much more drum-like in appearance. So a huge communal, constructive effort has gone in to very deliberately separating this monument from the landscape around it, and it's a formidable approach. There's only one way in and one way out here. And you say, well, sorry, go on now.
So what you're saying, this was the fort here, this just what we're standing on.
This is here, this is us, as I say, we're right in the middle of it here, and this enclosure we're going around. What you're looking at there, the avenue would have headed out, just widened out where the stand of trees are. This white area here is the car park, where you couldn't get a read. So it would have come over just around in front of the bus there, over in behind us, past the 2 field walls up, just in front of the old house here.
It is such a big
It's
perfect
geophysical
circle.
A circle?
Yes.
Sure, anyone could do like a circle. So get a bit of string and walk around and do it. Not only that, isn't it a funny thing? It's a good question you ask. These guys are engineers. Not only is that a massive feat of labour, up at the bypass they're building at the moment, right? Wheels are there. They have 300 people working there, right? They have 100 workers because they reckon every machine is doing the work of 100 men. But they have 200 administrators. Think of the administration.
Think of the road they'd have had to make.
But-
if they did a
But,
road going
but we're going to see these people, not only can they build, they can trade all across Europe, they can farm, they can hunt, they can make a living directly off the landscape. They're way more capable than we are in any shape or form. They're absolutely able to do everything and survive off the landscape. They're not whittling sticks. We've got some Bronze Age. We've got a bronze palstate back in our museum there. The filigree work on it is better than any jewellery you'll find now as well. And that's thousands of years ago made as well. These people, as I say, are not primitive. They're living in a different time, they have a different emphasis, but they're certainly not primitive. So, as I say, a massive feat of labour to do that. And it gives you an idea of the size of the construction. But if you're going to put, as I say, all that around and fence this all off and make such a formidable approach, why go to all that trouble? And you're yeah, well, like, absolutely. But you think, if you thought of a ring fort, you'd say, well, for defensive purposes, yet inside here, you're right. It's completely empty of any sign of dwelling or settlements. No hearts, no stone foundations, no buildings, so it's empty. So you're driving by on the road and you could look in and go, well, that looks like a hell of a fort, which would be a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it looks like something a little bit different. So not a dwelling place, but as you said, something special, something sacred, something for ceremony. Does that make sense? And that's step one, we have an enclosure, much bigger than Tara's or Armagh-Macca's, because I told you we had the best stuff in the West. I thought about the size of that. Now we could talk about what's below our feet here as well, but basically suffice to say, using electrical resistivity, a ground penetrating radar, you name it, all of it, they surveyed the mound from top to bottom, indicating at the heart below our feet here, right at the very base of it, layer after layer of use and reuse and activity. That's no surprise. We saw it just at Tulk's Fort on the outskirts of Rathcroghan. We've seen that. This is the mothership directly in the centre of us here. About halfway down below us here, about 2.5 metres below, using ground penetrating radar, they found 2 large stone concentric circular structures buried down below us, 22 metres and 35 metres in diameter, so massive monuments. And these bear a remarkable similarity to an excavation that was done in Ammanmaca, the Royal Site in Armagh in the 1960s and 70s. When they dug down into the hill at Ammanmaca, they found a 40-metre wide temple structure made of 270 various oak posts, with a huge totemic one placed in the centre. That central post was dated by dendrochronology to 95 BC, 2,100 years ago, right into the centre of the Iron Age. They built this massive Iron Age temple, filled it up with limestone boulders, set it on fire and destroyed it. So the purpose of its construction was its destruction. So they built it in a form of ceremony, destroyed it with fire, then buried it deliberately and began to build and interact at the top. That's Ammanmaca, the royal site up in Ulster, and we come down here to Rathcroghan, and in the centre of our own large-scale ceremonial site here, underneath our feet we find indications